Ashe, 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 oh. Welcome.
Well, I am what I am, a man who has brown skin and lives in Philadelphia. Before this letter, I did not know what I have in my blood, other than my mother, my father, and parts of my brother and sister. Before this letter, there was the process. Before this letter, there is a family. Before this letter, there is a reason. Before this letter, there is a setting. It's school. Like war, it never changes. I don't mean it's like really war, just... I'm Christion McNeal. I'm human. I work on things in life, like stories and school. But school is just a tool to me. It educates me. I have friends. I'm human. I go to and through school. I'm human. Meh, his all's in the day's work. Time to repeat. Next day. I've been writing stories since I was 12. I write journey stories, origin stories, of all genres. I write stories that express what I wish to be in life. They express my dreams, my imagination, and other realities. I write stories about the dimension I want to go to. Each one of my stories contains symbols and their own mythology. My dad used to write stories too. I think maybe that's where it comes from. The one watching over me and the one on the floor is my mother, and the one on the floor trying to look up the tree's skirt is my sister, and the one holding the camera is my baby-faced nephew, whom I have made a great mistake giving camera. For a while, I have wondered who I am and where I come from. I want to know my origins. I don't know how my family feels about this process, and I do not know how my father feels about this process. I don't know how my mother feels about this process. How far back can we trace our ancestry?
I think we have a story of your great-great-grandmother running away from her slave master and marrying her husband and bringing her children and her family to Philadelphia.
I would be excited to know where I came from, but again, I can't relate directly to it because it's been so long.
Okay.
My sister, however, is excited to find her history.
We haven't exactly gotten that far to research who our ancestors were in Africa, but we did manage to get our mother's maternal side almost completed. We even found new family members on our mother's maternal side. So we didn't really get as far as, researching our African ancestors.
Deoxyribonucleic acid, also known as DNA, is a self-replicant material present in nearly all living organisms.
The MasterClan test traces maternal ancestry by analyzing mitochondrial DNA, which men and women inherit exclusively from their mothers. You have the same DNA as your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, etc. for many generations. Scientists compare your mtDNA to the African lineage database to determine your ancestry from 500 to 2,000 years ago. If we find African ancestry, we will provide the present-day country in Africa.
I've decided that I need to know who my ancestors are and who they were because I want to know what they have done in the past and how it influences me today. I'm from the Mafa people in Cameroon. Great. Just great. The Mafa also known as the Matakam, are an ethnic group in northern Cameroon and eastern Nigeria. The Cameroon literature has also concentrated on both European and African themes, with writers such as Mongo Betty and Ferdinand Oyona. But even further back, there is a storytelling tradition of the Yoruba, which I think is where I get my thoughts from of my characters and stories. My new story, United We God, the main character Cadus finds out that his mother is a god and that he must go on a journey to reclaim his throne. My stories are something I keep close to my heart. I didn't think it was going to be something that strong, let alone something that I would keep up for so long. In fact, my first story took me 4 years to finish. All the stories I work on are going on Wattpad, a social network for writers. And if you want to see my stories, that's the website you need to look into. Well, I do want to go to college, and after that, I want to go into game design. I want to make games. And using these stories, I feel as though it's a good quality for making games in general. Well, the first game I ever thought about making up was a role-playing game, where you can make a character and you're sent to the beginning of time, or at least the beginning of Earth for right now. And during the entire RPG, you're sent to different sections of time between the Stone Age, the Revolutionary Age, the Industrial Age. If you went to Africa, you could journey around looking at different tribes. Like if you were African American, you can go back to that time and see how the world developed. Well, for middle schoolers, that would be like a free history class. For the rest of the people, it would probably be like a moment of discovery. I'm not done. I'm going to keep going with my stories, and so far, I'm doing well. I'll take the fact that I'm a Mafa or Matakam into the future. I'm an African American, and I'm from Africa. I originate in Africa. I know who I am, and I know what I am. Mostly.